from a cellular structure. We've been violated. That is causing pain and anxiety today among us. Stress so much that we blow our own brains out and offend others in many different ways and levels. I am manic, but I contain it with my suit, my tie, and my cup of coffee, not to mention my watch and my Mercedes. But one day, very soon, the doctors would say, hey man, you got something on you, in you, about you. And what is that, doc? It is cancer. Cancer? Well, my ancestors didn't have cancer. It was unknown. Why do I have cancer? Well, it's a virus. And what do you have? The other one has AIDS. That's a virus. The other one, herpes, that's a virus. Everything happened to be a virus, a germ, or a bacteria. How do we know that? We don't know that. Among all the writers in the black community, in the diaspora, none of them paid attention to what we should have been paying attention to. Our health. Our health. That would privilege me, would help me to love you and each other and myself first. That was omitted. We know all about the religious people. We know all about the cross and Jesus. We know all about that. But when we go home to eat, we eat something that was definitely offend our biological and cellular structure. Why is that? Where did that message come from? That we were supposed to eat starch and blood as a diet. When these things offend the black man's biology. So, today, we are carving out a little path into the past, and what we found, that yes, we are a member of the organic family, and that we didn't have any waste to rid ourselves from. But once in a while in New York, in LA, and anywhere you go, you see these trucks that written on them, it says waste management. How do you manage waste? I don't know. It's waste. Why even manage it? Why produce it? This is the reason why we are sick. So today, we want you to know that we are a member of the organic family, and that because of that understanding or level of understanding, we could put through the effort to ameliorate much of the ills that beset us. Isn't that beautiful? To come to that level of understanding that we need to change our diet to that which is compatible with our cellular predisposition. The African, I'm not saying that the African is better than the Caucasian, or that the African is better than the Chinese. When you begin to compare races and groups, then something has to be wrong with you. We are different. I am not a Caucasian. I am not a Chinaman. I am an African, which means that address this health situation that we are faced with, Ebola. Cut it out. That's a joke. Africa been dying for the last 500 years. The immunological system of the African has been compromised. Look at the diet of the African. None of it is African. Not to mention us. What do? Well, we fix it. That was the conversation that I had with my mother before she passed. She said, you know, when you were a little boy, they used to ask me, what is Fred gonna do? I used to tell them, I don't know. They asked your grandmother, Mama, hey, that's my grandmother. What's gonna happen to Fred? What is he gonna do? Well, Mama here would say, I don't know. Well, why don't you send him to school? That's when my grandfather would step in and says, gorillas doesn't take their cubs to be trained by polar bears. He will not go to school. He have to learn that which is consistent with his journey, with his cosmic journey. So I'm the little boy that didn't go to school but didn't understand why. But now that I'm at the age, in my winter of my age, I could see why my parents did that to me. They wanted me to stay clean, that I would be able to absorb just the material that life had to offer, not the philosophy of life. And that is where we're going to end this chapter, that the black man is not philosophical. I come from another society. Philosophy has not done anything in ameliorating the condition of health that exists on the planet today. The philosophy of medicine is, it exists, disease exists because of germ, virus, bacteria. So we have to treat it with a chemical, cyanide, arsenide, mercury, or antimony. That makes a lot of sense to philosophy, which is ours. We don't need philosophy. We are not philosophical folks. We are organic folks. The people that live by philosophy, they produce waste. Now we go to the organic family. What is the thought structure? There is none. I'm obedient, and that's all I have to be. Obedient to the laws of life, the arrangement of life. The elephant doesn't live by a philosophy, nor the giraffe. He just obeys what his mommy and his papi ate through generations of existence. So it comes in now. Honor thy mother and thy father, that thy days may be long upon the land. And that is what Dr. Sebi did. He went to the mother country, selected plants, and voila! AIDS are being cured. Ebola is being cured. Diabetes, sickle cell anemia. Oh, sickle cell anemia. The disease that beset every black person on the planet today is sickle cell. Why? Well, you know, every plant lives by the dictates of the DNA that represent that plant. Like if I go to burdock, I'm looking for iron. But if I go to the lily of the valley, I'm looking for something else, calcium and iron combined. But if I want calcium in its purest form, I go to sea moss. If I want phosphorus, I go to the sentinella plant. And so it goes with plants, and so it goes with birds, animals, and man. My food is not what I've been giving. The cure has to be organic. Phosphates, carbonates, iodides, and bromides. This would ensure equilibrium in the body. It would begin to cleanse and revitalize. Stress would be diminished, and a new direction would be presented to you. This is the first of 3 chapters acquainting you with the journey of the organic family. That is where Bolingo steps in. The Bolingo group, the love group, the organic family.
One taken.
Salutation. Welcome. Welcome to this world of Dr. Sebi, the organic world. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, over the years, I have been asked so many times by many of you, Dr. Sebi, how did you learn to put these compounds together? How did you know what to choose from the forest? Well, I could tell you stories about how I was led to it. But for me to say today that I did it on my own recognizance and that I am not wise, no, I'm not. It didn't happen that way. How did it happen? You see, I have been now on this planet 82 years, and over the last 60 years, I have been very well aware about activities that reverberate around the diaspora, and that which includes our culture, the black man, as we are called. Well, there are many of us that have many expressions about blackness, and they are good because they show growth. We're growing. Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, they are most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Holy Apostle. Then you have people like, Benjamin Banneker, George Drew, all these men, they fit in this chronology, in this sequence, in this procession. What we see here is this. Dr. Sebi drew from all of these people and still drawing from you. What I came to the conclusion very early, and I couldn't verbalize it because in the 60s, the talk was philosophy. It was Herodotus. It was Pliny. It was Socrates. It was Plato, Diogenes, Aristotle, participate in their conversations in Los Angeles with the great Ron Karinga and Kalu, Chaka, Lee Drawn. They all entertained these very heavy, important subjects. I couldn't participate. Why? Because I could never put my finger on something that these people were saying that related to blackness. Couldn't. And I grew up in a black house in Honduras as a little boy. So I couldn't take part in their dialogue. Sometimes I would feel handicapped. Sometimes a little bit like emotionally disturbed because I want to participate. But what I didn't know and I didn't notice was that life had it arranged for me to keep my big mouth shut. Yes, I kept my big mouth shut. From age 30 until about age 47. Those 17 years, I was able to put together, or I was able to receive from the natural arrangement of life what was really going on. Well, this is what I saw. This is what I received. The black race didn't have a philosophy. They didn't need a philosophy. Europe needed philosophers. Why did Europe and not Africa? You see, Africans, we live by the laws of life. That's the model. The laws of life. Do we need a philosophy? No. We just follow the natural law. Are we confused? Well, the eagle makes her nest before she lays her egg. And she weaved that nest quite well. Where did she go along to weave that nest? Who teach that eagle to weave that nest? That's a big bird gonna be in there, you know, including herself. Where did she learn that? She didn't learn it. It was always part of her DNA. It's inscribed, indelibly imprinted in her DNA. And what about the bear in the Alaskan tundra? When it gets cold, not her then. She's right in the middle of the cold, but she knows how to fix that den and to shape that hole that the wind would not bother her and her cubs while she's in her den. Where did she learn that? It only shows that we too are part of that cosmic arrangement, that procession. So today, it is philosophy against cosmic, or versus cosmic, or cosmic versus philosophy. Philosophy is about the assumption. I believe. I believe. I believe. I assume. I think. With us, not so. I know. There's a difference. Philosophy is based on belief and on assumptions. When you don't have a philosophy and you follow the laws of life, which should be the model, then you don't have to believe in anything. You know. So today, we're going to see the difference. The products of philosophy. Notice carefully now. We don't want to confuse this issue. The product of philosophy is always a chemical. Arsenides, cyanides, mercury, and antimony. These are the products of philosophy. They are made in a laboratory, expecting them to assimilate with the human body. Come on now. That's philosophy. Again, I repeat. Cyanides, arsenides, mercury, and antimony. These are the products of philosophy. These are applied to food and medicine. With the black man, not so. Ours is organic. Ours is natural. So we go just the opposite of arsenides, cyanide, antimony, and mercury. These are protoplasmic poisons. Now we travel into the organic world, the world that is free of philosophy. We want to make sure that when we enter the field of nutrition or of addressing disease, you don't want to go into that arena believing, because I could believe that I'm giving you mullein, but it is foxglove, and I'm going to poison you because they look alike. I have to know. So with the black man not having a philosophy, where are we left with? The model of life, nature itself. So from nature, we get phosphates, carbonates, iodides, and bromides. These are considered by biochemistry as food and vitalizers, not protoplasmic poison. Phosphates, carbonates, iodides, and bromides. You mean to tell me that I have to learn these things? Oh yes, Dr. Sabi. You have to learn the language of biochemistry. Hey, but hold it, fellas. Is that necessary? Today it is. Why? Because when our mothers was taken away from the forest, she was introduced to the mechanical world. So we have to understand the mechanical language. But in the forest, we didn't have to know about cyanide, arsenide, mercury, and antimony because it didn't exist. And we didn't have to learn about phosphates, carbonates, iodides, and bromide because that's all we had. So whatever selection you made, you were right on time. But we lost that ability. We lost that ability over the 500 years of eating things that offends us. We're not able to select from the forest or to even know what to eat. Could you imagine that I, the educated man, need a nutritionist to hold my hand? A nutritionist need to come and hold my hand to show me what to eat. Does an elephant have a nutritionist? Does a gorilla have a nutritionist? The answer is no. But then, the nutritionist, who is supposed to be educated and that their understanding of food is above all everybody else, guess what? Correct me if I'm wrong. The nutritionist, you have to eat your protein. You have to eat your protein. You need your protein. The nutritionist is telling us that we need our protein. They went to school. Now, why do they have to hold your hands to show us that we need protein? The gorilla doesn't hold anybody's hand to show what they need to eat. They know. It's coded in the DNA. So you see, when Messenger Elijah Muhammad said that they gave us the wrong food to eat, we didn't realize the extent of the damage that was done to the brain and to the central nerve system only because we ceased honoring our mother and our father. It wasn't our fault, yours or mine or anyone else. But the time has arrived that it is right in front of our face. Whether you're a Christian, whether you are a Muslim, whether you are a Buddhist, or you're a Hebrew Israelite, not to mention Jewish, they all comes to the Usha village for what? The cure of their disease. So you see, and that including Dr. Sebi, we all are sick. Regardless to your religious belief. So we come to this juncture in which we have to put forth a level of understanding that's going to take us beyond religion. And why is that? Well, a few things. Religions. The Christian had me eating pork, which is going to hurt me. It hurt me for many years. It hurt me until I was 30. It hurt me. Messenger Elijah Muhammad came into my life and removed it. Then I had to leave what he, the messenger, recommended. Lamb and carrots. I couldn't eat that either. But the messenger always said that the best Muslim was still in the street. In fact, the messenger knew, and I knew this from his mouth. I ate with Messenger Elijah Muhammad in 1959 in Chicago on Woodlawn Avenue. Present was John Ali, National Secretary, Supreme Captain Raymond Sharif, and there was myself and Harry Nan from New Orleans and the messenger. And while the messenger is cutting the meatloaf, he was looking at us and he said, we should stop eating meat. So we're growing. You see, Christianity helped me, Islam helped me, the Hebrew Israelite helped me. But the time has come, I now have to help them. Because we cannot eat the tofu that the Hebrew Israelite is selling us because it's going to hurt us. Tofu, my brothers and sisters, is starch. Starch is not a food. Starch is known in the scientific world as carbonic acid. It's not a food. It creates another level, a reaction that produces sulfides in the body. Sulfides does one thing and one thing alone, rob you of your oxygen. And this is why many of our patients that is cancerous of the breast or of the reproductive organ are Muslims or Hebrew Israelite. Why? Because the Hebrew Israelite is giving our sisters this tofu, which is robbing them of their iron and weakening their system. Well, we are not going to blame our brothers in the religion of the Hebrew Israelite for doing that. No. Today is not about blaming anyone. It's about us realizing that that which we know as constant is on top of us today. They call it change. Change is the only thing that is constant. And as that change takes place, we move and we change with it. Sure, I like to go to the restaurants of the Hebrew Israelites. I like to go to the Islamic restaurant in Detroit on Michigan Avenue, Agnatun. But I want to go in there and eat something good. So now, for us to do that, we have to help the brothers and the sisters to produce the things that are good for us, not to condemn them. We're not going to talk about Yahweh ben Yahweh. We're not going to talk about Minister Firecar. No, we're not going to talk about Reverend Al Sharpton. We're going to help them to understand that there has been a paradigm shift and that we are responsible for responding to that shift. Yes, I love Muslims. Yes, I love Hebrew Israelite. Not to mention Christians. Every time I think about you Christians, I think about Reverend Littleton in Memphis, and I think about Reverend Jordan in Louisiana, New Orleans, that used to feed me, and they laugh at me. You Muslims, they're feeding you. I gotta give you a job to eat. But it was all beautiful. So yes, you see, philosophy against that which is cosmic. That which is cosmic is consistent with life. That is truth. Truth is that which support life. And that which support life, you knows. Yeah, brothers and sisters. Change has arrived. But we shouldn't resist it. Because if we resist it, imagine our children are going to suffer. I have a little boy, he's only a year old, David. I got to talk to his mother constantly about what she's going to put in my baby's mouth beside her breast. Taiwa, well, I had to raise my little girl with sea moss and hemp milk. You understand? And then she had a spelled bread. But she's 4 years of age now. And she's telling me what I need to do. Now imagine that. But it all comes with help. So yes, philosophy does not fit in life vernacular. It is cosmic. It got to be organic. It got to be native. It is electrical. And that is where Dr. Sebi draws his energy from. That black woman in the jungles of Africa. She is a part of the organic family. Africa, the Aztecs, the Olmecs, the Toltecs, the Incas, the American Indian, they all makes up the organic family. But there is something that we all had in common, the organic family. We didn't have a toilet because our fecal matter didn't stench, because we didn't eat anything for that to occur. We were clean. We ate only that which was alkali. So even our fecal matter went back into the soil. Recyclable. Yes. I had to fight some uphill little things in the past, obstacles, they call them. One is that I was taken to the Bronx Botanic Center in November of 1987, questioned by botanists from Yale and Harvard or Princeton. I know what they were doing. See, I was arrested, and my case began in 88. Now they want to test me, and they sent these people to see if my premise was consistent, if my foundation was solid. Well, I don't really have to prove myself to anybody. I just got to produce. I was always about production, not talking. So the man said, the Jewish man, are you acquainted with the works of Dr. David Ayensu? That he's trying to find the cure of leukemia using the rosy periwinkle? I said, I think I am. What do you know of it? I said, well, Dr. David Ayensu is looking for the cure of leukemia by isolating the active ingredient in the rosy periwinkle. But the rosy periwinkle is a hybrid plant. It's an acid-based plant. It was cross-pollinated in Madagascar by the French. Because it was cross-pollinated and it isn't a product of nature, the base is acid. That's the secret. No big secret. If nature didn't make it, don't take it. If nature didn't make it, don't take it. Don't take it if nature didn't make it. This I heard from the mouth of some sisters in Philadelphia when I gave a speech. And they were right. You see, nature doesn't make anything with starch. And the rosy periwinkle has starch. No healing. So enough for the research of Dr. David Ayensu. He's a beautiful brother. He's from Ghana. He's a member of the Smithsonian Institution. But we have to help Dr. David Ayensu to understand certain things. Like we have to help Dr. Sanjay Gupta. Dr. Sanjay Gupta, you always make these recommendations across the board. One size fits all. No, brother. We love you, Gupta. But we see where you need to raise your level of understanding. Because when you talk, you seem to forget that there is a genetical thing that needs to be considered. My genetic predisposition is not the same as a Caucasian, or Chinese, or an Eskimo. We are different. Hey, Sanjay? So when you go back talking about treatment and complementing, be careful, man. You have to know something about our genetical predisposition, which I don't think that they taught you in school. So we want you to know that you need to revamp your position. As far as Dr. Deepak Chopra, we also love you. But you were the one that asked me, why did I remove from Teddy Pendergrass eggs and steaks and chicken, when you said to me that these are the things that constitute protein? Dr. Deepak, you too, we need to help you, and we are willing to do so. You see, when we African talk, we talk from a position that is linked to the procession of life. So, Dr. Deepak Chopra, when you told Teddy in front of me, when you told me in front of Teddy that I was not supposed to do such thing, you forgot that everything on Teddy was moving that was never supposed to move again. We are not in opposition to you, but you doesn't know anything about the African and our cellular structure or predisposition. Sanjay Gupta and Dr. Deepak Chopra, we are willing to help you. Believe me, we have to live up to our position. Remember, we are the African. We are the one that have a long history of complimenting people because we are obedient to the laws of life. So you see, that's right. There has been a paradigm shift, but brothers and sisters, this come with the shift. Today, I hope that the little presentation and the few minutes would have helped to clarify much of the fog that exists in our understanding. There is such thing as the organic and the inorganic, the alive and the dead. Protein has no place in the human body because it is non-electrical. We are electrical. Electric body, electric food. That is chemical affinity. That is digestion. That is assimilation. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. And this is one of the chapters from the African bio-mineral balance. Thank you, my brothers and sisters. Thank you very much.
3, 2, 1, we're live.
Good evening or welcome. Good day. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, I have been asked to talk about my arrest by the police and brought before the grand jury, New York, end up in the Supreme Court of New York. It was all right. But my arrest didn't begin in 1987. The stage was set long before the 10th of February of 1987. You see, before I got to New York, many years before, there were many healers then, like there are now, making claims, but never have, delivered. There were 2,781 cases that went before the Supreme Court for practicing medicine without a license and making fraudulent claims. I'm the 2,782nd. When the police came, I said to them, I asked them, why do you have your gun drawn? You are in a health place, the Usha Research Institute. Why do you have your gun drawn? They said the element of surprise. I said, but my mother told me that when I put the ad in the papers that we cure AIDS and other diseases, that you would be coming. My mother told me that. Been 2 years now. We've been waiting for you. You said element of surprise. You kind of 2 years late. About the arrest, it was the most beautifulest thing that I ever experienced in my life unfolding in front of me. If I were aware of what was happening to me, I think I would have backed out. I'd have got scared. Okay. So they put the cuffs on me and said, you have advertised that you cure AIDS and other diseases, which is practicing medicine without a license, and you're also selling product not approved by the FDA. Oh boy, I got all these charges against me. When they put the cuffs on me and they take me down the steps, guess what is about to happen? A dialogue between me and the herbs. And the herbs, I have to go down 19 steps. The herbs are saying, yeah, Dr. Sebi, for 2 years, for 5 years then, they've been saying, Dr. Sebi, Dr. Sebi, Dr. Sebi, giving you all kind of praise, standing ovation. But I hope that you know it. We, the earth, were the one that was giving you that privilege. Now, when he gave you the standing ovations, oh, you were happy. Everybody just, Dr. Sebi. Now we the earth, got cuffs on your arms, handcuffs. Are you going to feel the same way? And I started to laugh. I said, oh my God. I'm a victim because the standing ovations was because of the herbs. Now the handcuffs is because of the herbs. So I know that when the herbs came into my brain and we had this dialogue, that the herb wasn't going to betray me, because I know they represent truth. When they opened the door to let me in front in the street, Channel 7 said, Dr. Sebi, do you really cure AIDS? I said, I cure AIDS then, I cure AIDS now, and for as long as I live, I cure AIDS. Well, how do you feel to be arrested? I said, I feel good. The police have to do things the police way. So I wasn't angry at the Attorney General, Mr. Robert Abrams, for arresting me, because my brothers and sisters were in New York occupying a position that was unfounded, and they thought that I was part of that. No, I'm a different kind of animal. Not better, not worse. A different animal. Don't even try to calibrate me, because you do not have a barometer that could measure what I am and who I am. That also would be a mechanical measurement. So don't even go there. I too cannot calibrate you. So, when I gave that response to Channel 7, the police then said, why do you have to tell them that? I said, but you guys are acting crazy with me. You know, gun drawn, cuffs on me. And or because I said that I cure AIDS. If I said that I cure AIDS and sickle cell and lupus and herpes, then, hey, you should welcome this. No, put it right there. See, you should welcome this. I am your brother. I am a citizen of the United States. I live in the United States. Do you believe that I would leave Honduras to go to America to deploy a bunch of things that were less than the truth? Come on now. No. That was never part of my DNA. That was never part of my giving. That was never anything that I deployed. I don't do that. I never have done that. So they put me in the car and took me to the precinct. When I got to the precinct, the officer that is going to fingerprint me and put the number on my chest said to the officers, "You guys messed up." I said, "Why you say that?" "Because this man really healed." They said, I asked him, "How do you know?" He said, "Because you healed me. I had gout." I said, "But I've never seen you." He said, "No, I sent a black policeman to tell you that he had gout and he brought me the medicine on the compounds." I said, "Why did you come?" He said, "Because, I don't know if you love white people, the way you talk. That's me, I'm so certain that everybody think that I'm angry." I said, "You don't even love white people." I said, I don't know of any black person that hate white people nowhere in the world. It is impossible for a black person to hate a white person. That is impossible. Why? Because our DNA does not represent that. We die for you. We fight wars for you. I was in the Merchant Marine for 10 years for you. What? That was the dictate. He said, "Thank you, man. Thank you." I said, "Thank you." You see, the perception or the myth is that to be black, you gotta hate white, you gotta hate Chinese, you gotta hate Arabs, you gotta hate Eskimos, not to mention Indians or natives. No. To be black is to be sweet. To be black is to be a servant. To be black is to serve. And there's no better position. So, I'm thrown in jail, and here comes the day of the trial. The first one was the civil case. Judge Shorter, William Shorter, from Washington, D.C., but he was in the 6th Appellate Court in New York. He was the judge that let me out on my own recognizance. I arrived in his chambers. He said, "Why did you advertise that you cure AIDS?" I said, "Well, you see, Your Honor, I have a mother that's alive, and there is a continent by the name of Africa, to which I am a son of. I am an African, and I am not going to make a statement that would undermine my mama, face. And the judge looked at me, and he looked at the woman at the table. He realized that the answer I gave him was one that said, if I didn't cure AIDS, that statement wouldn't be made. He looked at the lady at the table and said, did you guys investigate this man before you arrest him? She said, no. You know, that's Sadie, you know, arrest a nigger. So the judge said, you didn't investigate the man before you arrested him? She said, no. The judge said, well, the answer you just gave me, he sure is. You guys are going to be in trouble. And yes, indeed, the case began now in the civil court. Down below is the Dr. Victor Herbert and assistant prosecuting attorney or assistant district attorney, Phyllis Spade, is asking the physician in favor of the state, have you heard of any individual that cured AIDS, Dr. Victor Herbert? He said no. Have you heard of any therapy that cured AIDS? He said no. Have you heard of any compounds that cure AIDS? He said no. The judge is cleaning his nails with his eyes closed. And the judge opened his eyes and said, have you ever used Exhibit A? The doctor said, no. The judge said, thank you. I went back to cleaning his nails. When the doctor saw that the judge just destroyed his line of defense, the doctor said, Your Honor, I know all about herbs. Like take, for instance, the foxglove. And the judge responded by saying, the white or the pink? I said, no, how in the devil does this judge know about herbs? Well, the case went on, and finally, I won in the civil case. But the judge, Judge Charter, said to me, Dr. Sebi, when you walk in my courthouse, the state wanted me in my chambers. The state wanted me to see you as a villain. But I saw an honorable man. When I was 18, he said, I want to do something in America that made the difference. I didn't get to do that. I just became a judge. But today, you gave me the privilege to judge that which makes the difference. Bam, bam, bam. You won your case. That's the civil case. But I want you to know that I was not in any way angry at the Attorney General. I'm not angry at anyone. I'm never angry. I don't need to be angry. I got a job to do. I got a whole race that I have to be addressing. Because in the past 500 years, we haven't had anyone to come to us with a method that really complements our genetical predisposition. And why? Because we never had to do that in Africa. Then they put us through this thing we call slavery, disconnecting us from home. I'm not blaming Black America for not knowing certain things. I'm saying, though, this I am saying, that since the standards, the bar has been raised and standards have been set, why do you continue to offer substandard treatment? Dr. Sebi proved that yes, he cured AIDS. Yes, he cures sickle cell and lupus and herpes and blindness and others. Now, the judge said you have to go to the Supreme Court now on the criminal side. I went to the criminal side. That's the side that is really, really, really the beautiful side of this program. I sat there, and the judge said, "Will you please begin?" I said, "I don't know where to begin." "Begin any way you want to begin." I said, "Well, I will begin with 3 questions. Your Honor, is it a fact that our Holy Bible and the Quran, the Hadith, the Talmud, and the Torah, they all teaches that the herbs are for the healing of the nations?" She said, "Yeah." "Is it a fact that the father of medicine, Mr. Hippocrates, addressing the diseases of mankind then, he was able to reverse all of them, establishing the principle of medical science? When I take the Hippocratic oath, am I not supposed to follow the precepts of Hippocrates?" "But Your Honor, that is what I'm doing. I'm not violating any American law. I did not come from Honduras to America to violate any of your laws. I respect the law then, now, and forever." "Did he use herbs or chemicals?" She said, "Herbs." Last question. Your Honor, is it a fact that nature, that science teaches that the human body is carbon-based, and that the substance that complements, the only substance that complements the human body is a carbon-based substance? That is where you find this arrangement they call chemical affinity. Chemical affinity comes before assimilation. There has to be an affinity for the stuff for it to assimilate. Assimilations means digestion. Electric body, electric food.